Ooh, here we go. Touchy subject time. Are mods on your motorcycle worth it? Let's get to it. Alright, so today's video is going to be about mods. And we're going to get to the do's and don'ts in a moment here. And as I said in the last video, this is a ZZR 1400, but this is the performance sport model, so it just says it right there, performance sport. And this comes with kind of aftermarket parts, stock from the factory almost. So it comes with the Öhlins rear shock, comes with the Akrapovic exhaust and the Brembo front brakes. So that's not really what I'm talking about in this video. I'm talking about mods that you will do yourself on your own motorcycle. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump on, we're going to go out for a ride, and we're going to discuss a few mods that I think are beneficial, a few mods that I don't think are worth it. And, you know, I mean, a lot of this is going to be subjective, so don't take this, you know, personally in any way, shape or form. Like, if there's a certain mod that I don't particularly like myself, hey, there's no reason why you shouldn't do it yourself. If you think it's beneficial to you and your ride, then that's entirely up to you, and good on you. But just from my experience, I'm just going to go over a few things that I found with modifications that I like, some that I dislike, and yeah, we'll go from there. So on a lovely day today compared to the last video that was filmed. That was about MOTs or road safety inspections. I mean, that day was awful. That was the first day I was able to get out and ride and actually film a video, and yeah, really annoying that it rained as much as it did, to be honest, but there you go. Not much you can do about that, unfortunately. So the mods that I've done on this bike, the first one is my rear brake light, my tail light. That I modified. I bought an aftermarket one that was kind of like a dark shroud, so it camouflages quite nicely in with the fairings at the back. So I put that one on myself, and I quite like it. I've kept it on there, so I'm quite pleased with that. But there was another mod that I did that I wasn't actually overly keen on, and it was when I first got this bike. I put on handlebar risers. So they were about, what, an inch and a half, something like that, handlebar risers. And it was literally just to make the ride a little bit more upright for me, so it's a bit more comfortable. So it's not as much pressure on your wrists. But I ended up taking them off because I actually prefer the stock riding position after I rode for a little while with those risers on. I just took them off. The most frustrating thing about those risers, and you might find this with yours, that they didn't actually fit properly initially. I had to cut some pieces of the metal off, and I bought them from eBay, so, you know, kind of my fault really, and they were like the cheapest set I could get. I wasn't really paying attention to what I was buying, but they didn't really fit properly. But I was able to cut the metal with a hacksaw a little bit to get them to fit properly. But yeah, I literally just didn't like the way how the ride felt afterwards. I literally preferred the stock way of riding on this particular bike. But there's a few other comfort mods that you can get if you're a slightly older rider and you want a more chilled experience or something. You can get different rear sets, so maybe you can get some adjustable rear sets, or when I say rear sets I mean foot pegs. So you can get yourself some lowered foot pegs to, you know, so you're not squatting on the bike as much. But you can get adjustable ones, so you can get ones that are 3 or 4 different levels of height. And yeah, depending on whether or not you want that more race-like experience or you want that more comfort touring-like experience, well, yeah, you can adjust them as you please. So those kinds of mods I think are quite good. I think they're beneficial to people. And if you do have a bike that you absolutely love riding, but it's a little bit uncomfortable in a certain way, then yeah, you can get yourself some comfort mods. Also things like seats, you can get a new seat, you can get like a gel seat. And I know that a lot of motorcycles nowadays, especially more touring oriented bikes, they have really hard seats. Like, I don't know if it's hard leather or hard plastic, I don't know, but they're really uncomfortable seats. And I think a gel seat or something that's at least got some kind of padding, I think is far more usable, and you'll be able to sit on the bike for much longer periods of time. So if you do have a hard seat, it's definitely worth investing in a nice soft seat for sure. I mean, things like wing mirrors, I don't think you need to change those, I suppose, unless you get involved in a low side or a high side crash or something, and you lose both your wing mirrors or something. Then yeah, okay, at that point it's definitely worth getting some aftermarket ones, because you know that the stock ones are going to be more expensive. Unfortunately, that's just how it works. So aftermarket ones in that position will probably benefit you more, to be perfectly honest. What else? What other comfort mods are there that I haven't mentioned? Windshields, you can get windshield mods to make them a little bit taller, so there's less wind hitting your face. But again, on this particular performance sport model, it's got these holes here, the bubble windshield, so it means that not all of the air is being blown straight at your face. Kind of disperses it a little bit, which does make the ride more comfortable, especially if you're doing kind of over 70 miles an hour or so. It does help. Grips, I don't really see grips as a necessary mod, changing the grips. I think if the stock grips are shot to pieces and you need to get some new rubber on your handles, then yeah, fine, get some aftermarket ones. Heated grips, see, I had heated grips on my old CBR, and to be perfectly honest, I did try them out in cold weather and they didn't help all that much for me. They made the insides of my hand warm, but the outsides of my hands were still getting really, really cold. I think they probably made me a bit more resilient in the cold. I think it probably made me last a little bit longer out in the cold if I was out on a longer ride or something. I think in that situation, yes, they do help, but they're not a permanent solution to cold weather, unfortunately. So heated grips, your mileage may vary. I don't know. And I got Oxford heated grips as well, so I didn't get some cheap ones that that I didn't know would work or what have you. I got some proper branded ones. And they were actually a present from my wife's parents last year. So it's a shame, because I wanted heated grips for ages and I just never got around to putting them on the bike. But yeah, heated grips, nah. I'm not so keen on heated grips. I don't think they're strictly necessary. But here is probably the most sensitive part of the video now, and that is performance mods. Okay, I'm gonna be straight out with it. Performance mods, I don't think are worth it. And honestly, when I'm looking to buy a new motorcycle, I get put off by performance mods. If it's just a slip-on exhaust, that's fine, no problem. But if there's a full exhaust system, or an aftermarket exhaust that needs a power commander or something like that, no, you're probably going to have problems with that bike, because unless the power commander is programmed properly by a proper mechanic that actually knows what they're doing, you're going to struggle, to be perfectly honest. So performance mods are a real hit or miss for me. Seriously, seriously, man, fuel prices are insane. 133 for unleaded. That is just crazy. I remember before the lockdown happened, the maximum it got to, I think, was 123, 124. But nowadays, that is an incredible amount of money for fuel, man. So such a pain in the ass. Anyway, I'm getting distracted, going off on a bit of a rant there. So yeah, performance mods, like they might. Okay, look, if you know what you're doing and what have you, then great. You're probably going to have a whale of a time with a power commander, getting that extra bit of horsepower, getting a little bit of top end power there. You know, it'll go a long way to increasing the maximum output of your motorcycle. But think of it from a buyer's perspective, they're not going to be keen, not knowing that the bike is you know, is being changed performance wise. And I suppose some enthusiasts might think, oh yeah, that'll be a good machine to buy. They've got some nice quality performance mods on there, but I don't know, for the average rider, I don't think it's worth it buying these things. You might just give yourself a load of headaches. And the funny thing is, I'm not talking from experience. I just know to stay away from stuff like that. I much prefer stock machines, and even this bike, I prefer this bike in its stock form. I mean, yeah, you don't need the performance sport modifications really. They don't add any extra horsepower. All they do is just change the sound, basically. The performance of the brakes, I suppose you could say, are better than what you'd get stock, and of course the Öhlins rear shock also helps quite a bit. But honestly, stock Kawasaki stuff is still fantastic. It's still really, really good stuff. So honestly, you're not going to miss out if you're looking to buy a ZZR 1400 or a ZX14R. If it is just a stock one, don't worry, you're not missing out on much, trust me. I mean, I bought this one just because it was the one that was in the showroom when I went around looking for a ZZR. So honestly, you're not missing out on anything at all. But so yeah, if you're getting modifications from the factory, it's not an issue really. But I still, if I had the option now, I'd still go for completely stock ZZR 1400, I reckon. But even things like levers, clutch levers, brake levers, keep them stock. Seriously, again, unless they break in a crash or something, keep them stock. These ones anyway, these are really good because they're both adjustable, stock, and you might not be so lucky on your particular bike, and if that is the case, then yeah, aftermarket levers might be beneficial for you just for that added element of customization and comfort. But yeah, mods in general, you know, for engine components, I don't think are worth it. But anything to do with the performance of the bike, I don't think is worth it. And like I said, you don't know the history of the bike. You don't know who it was that installed that power commander. You don't know if they knew what they were doing. I mean, an exhaust system, I can't remember if you have to have a modded ECU if you change the exhaust. I can't remember, because obviously all of the sensors might get scrambled, so yeah, you might have to change it to get the bike running properly. I don't know. Again, I'm not an expert on performance mods or anything like that, so I just know they're a pain in the ass, and when they go wrong, you're going to really struggle to get them running right. I mean, I suppose if you find a motorcycle that has got a modified exhaust and has got a power commander, but say if it comes with the stock exhaust, then yeah, hell, you can go for it, because you can just put on the stock exhaust and remove the power commander. Yeah, like I said, I don't. This is a really touchy subject, because I know that there are people out there that absolutely love modding their machines, and yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm actually interested in getting involved in the modding scene more, and I mean, I'm just not confident with these things, unfortunately. Not yet, at least. Yeah, don't roast me too hard in the comments. I'm only trying to be sensible, you know, like I'm talking from a noob's perspective. Yeah, when it comes to mods, there's so many pitfalls. I mean, I tell you what, even comfort mods, people can get comfort mods wrong, you know, they think, oh, that they're easy to do, but people can get those wrong as well. So you do have to be careful. I mean, if it's done by a mechanic, then yeah, you're gonna have no problems. You know, if there's invoices for the work and the part numbers and everything, then yeah, you've got no problems. But that's the thing, with mods, a lot of people, they do it themselves. I do mine myself, and I don't always do the best job on my own mods. So you do have to keep an eye out for it, and I do try to stay away from the chassis, any work on the frame, any work on the forks. I try to stay away from that as well, because I'll happily admit I'm not an expert in these things, and I don't want to get it wrong, especially if I end up selling the bike to another person, you know, because that's just wrong. I don't want to do that. If I'm going to sell a bike, I want to sell it running good, and you know, well, running perfectly to the best of my knowledge. You know, that's what I want to do when I'm looking to sell a bike. So, and all of you lot should feel the same way as well. You don't want to be sold a bad motorcycle, or a motorcycle that someone's just, I don't know, scammed you with or what have you. You want to buy something good, so make sure that if you sell your bikes, you sell them legit. Man, traffic. I don't learn my lesson. Traffic is so bad at this time around here. It's awful. What the hell, man? Seriously. God. Yeah. Awful time to be out around the town today. Dear, oh dear. Anyway, guys and gals, I think that's going to do it for today's video. Let us know what your thoughts are on modifications. Have you guys been screwed in the past from mods and things on a bike that you didn't know had mods or something? Because something like a power commander, you can hide it underneath the fuel tank and stuff like that, depending on where the ECU is on the bike. But they're not always easily seen, so you do have to watch out whenever it is that you're buying a motorcycle, and making sure that you know if something runs poorly, right? If something runs bad, you know it sounds bad. If there's smoke coming out of the exhaust, you know that's probably an issue with either the head gasket or what have you. You know there's an issue there. But yeah, I hope you're having an awesome day today as usual. Let us know in the comment section what you guys are up to, if you're up to anything interesting. If you bought yourself a new bike, let us know what it is. Let us know if you got any tours planned during the summer. Yeah, like I said, let us know your thoughts on modding. Let us know if you got any mods of your own on your bike, and whether or not you think, oh, you need to get this mod or something like that, you know. enlighten us. If you're experienced in these kinds of things, yeah, enlighten us. Go ahead, let us know what you think. But yeah, thanks again for watching, guys and girls, and I will see you all in the next video.